So keep that in mind.
Sucks.
Yeah, whatever the Amethyst Kingdom was preparing for, they are going to throw everything at you. You continue to sail forward. You were a mile out. Now we're going to say you're about halfway, a half mile out, where the waves are beginning to stir at their absolute most intense. Captain Aaliyah holds her hat in place as she starts yelling to each of the 6 helmsmen that work for her, including you, Napine, saying, "Hurry, quick, pull the mast over here. We need to steady ourselves on the right side. Shift the weight of the passengers." And Napine, I want you to go ahead and roll me. We're calling that same ship handling check, which is survival, with your proficiency modifier added on top of all that.
If I'm already proficient in survival, is it like...
It's at twice.
Okay.
So take what would be just your survival roll, which
19.
already shows you your addition on top of that. 19 is good. And you see that Napine, with Pillow dutifully at her side, is as quickly as a turtle can, meaningfully, dutifully pulling the right ropes and making sure that the mast position is in correct place and helping to caution and move people to the right sides in order to anchor the ship in the correct place to buffet against the incoming storms. She continues to give commands to others. Why don't you roll luck for your ship?
What is rolling luck?
Actually, no. I want everybody to roll luck for your own individual ships. I think that all of you... That's a great question. I think that Wes and Michael, which is to say Rye and Leah, are on the same ship.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. Weak boys.
So, luck. This is raw luck. Who rolled lower than a 10? Lower than a 10, single digit for your ship.
That was single digit.
Okay, so you, Lamy, with your brigade of cavalry riders that are not currently on your mounts, you're preparing to cast these spells. You know what to do. You've been trained for this moment. And suddenly, your helmsman, your ship, is not handling these waves very well. You begin to see, as it rocks back and forth, General Tarkus amongst you saying, "Steady! Steady! Hold yourselves together!" And he's barking orders, but seems not to be going very well. Of your 20 units that are on your particular... Well, I said there were only 6 total ships. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's say of the 200 units that are on your ship, which includes multiple cavalry divisions, I want you to just roll me, let's say D100, 2D10.
That is 56.
Okay, so you notice that roughly 56, so about basically roughly a quarter of your total units begin to get sick as they're buffeting by the waves. And why don't you roll me a D12?
That is a 2.
2 of your troops, as a result of buffeting waves in an extremely violent motion, take a spill and fall directly outside of the vessel. By completely random luck, we're going to say none of them are close enough to you to even be able to remotely help. General Tarkus is going to reach down. He's like, okay, cool. He rolled a 23 on strength. He just reaches down and then effortlessly pulls one of these guys out of the water, and the other guy is drifting in the middle of the ocean. Your boat does not stop for him. He is, for all intents and purposes, either dead or gonna have to swim home.
So I just rolled for both of us since you said we're on the same ship. I rolled an 11 and you rolled a 4.
I rolled a 19.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay, so you're both fine.
Great.
Mitchell, only because we need to raise the stakes here. You're one guy out of the 200 of you that fell overboard and was not saved by General Tarkus. Why don't you literally just roll me raw luck for him to see if he does end up lasting long enough to
What was
survive.
his name?
I'll roll to see how well you knew him. I rolled a natural 20.
This is so I often worked with the quartermaster. I have skills as a smith as well as a leather worker, so making gear. This is going to be what is it called? The guy who makes charcoal. He's the guy who Kilnsman. Yeah. So this is the Kilnsman.
Oh no.
Kilnsman.
Sounds like they.
Cherry dude.
Yeah,
No,
cherry dude.
this is Kilnsman. I'm gonna go with Weem. W-E-A-M. Weem.
Great.
Weem.
Great. Yep. The Weem is going to be a great and serious name for the roughly 40% chance he dies here. So Weem falls overboard. You know him very well. He's far enough to where you can see him, but so far that you're not able to help him. And he is desperately trying in his like relatively heavy armor to keep himself above the waves. This is not a mage. This is not someone who can just like snap a spell and levitate. And you know this? Like, actually, why don't you roll insight? This is a general practice in the military. I want to see if you know this.
That is a 22.
Okay, great. Yeah, with the 22, you're the kind of person that likes talking to people to see how the sausage gets made. Like, really, what are the tacticians doing and thinking about? How do we progress ourselves toward an ultimate finale? And you know for a fact that all of the mage casters that are like stationed on each of the vehicles for what's about to come, these defensive measures that they're going to put in place, they were explicitly instructed not to waste any of their spell slots on stragglers. So Weem is now in the water, desperately trying to swim. I'm going to decide whether or not he. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna decide. It's a lot for Weem here. He decides to, because of protocol, he is not to take off his armor. He is dutifully trying to make himself, basically use the strength training that he received to make himself get back to the ship. Or if he just has to tread water, that you've also been trained for that too. So we'll see if he's able to make it. I just need you to roll me athletics. We're gonna say he has +3 to athletics, and that he needs to roll a. Man, these waves, he like fell in the absolute worst part of the waves. We're just gonna do one roll. If he fails, he drowns, basically.
Sure.
He needs to roll at least a 13.
That is an 18.
Okay, good. So you see as Weem, the kilnsman, falls overboard, decides to keep up his armor, and you can tell that he is strong enough to hold himself upright. Assuming this battle only lasts between 10 and 15 minutes, you presume you'll be able to come back and grab him later. But you don't know that yet. To your knowledge, he just falls overboard.
Weem.
So I think that's it. No other complications to the rest of your ships. You move into...
Yeah, I had a 16.
Yeah, so anything lower than a 10 prompted this whole thing. It was just that nat 20 that made this much more important, I suppose. So the rest of your ships get into that halfway point. You are now inside of this sort of warbling noise that makes, at least for Rai's character, makes Rai queasy and several others. And also the ships start buffeting waves, and some people start falling overboard. And now you get to the 3/4 mark. And this is where Lear, this is where you would have expected your vanguard of these Komodo dragon-like riders. We'll put an image of them on the notion later. They are going to ride forward using this spectacular magic that only the 8 of them possess that gives them a water walking ability. So you see a puff of magic go out. They put on this cloaking ability that conceals both them, the riders, and these magically conditioned lizards, and they walk on the water. Each of the 8 of them in their hands holding your device, the one that you worked with Syndra to create.
It's only my device, unless it's not my. It's only my device if it works.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and solely you, not the other 10 or 20 people that worked on this. So they're going to go forward, and I am going to roll how successful your device is behind the screen as Lear desperately, anxiously looks at them. So at this point, a few more things begin to pick up. You see that there are mage casters at the helms of each of these ships, and one of them, as conditioned, as sequenced, they cast this huge, ghastly gray and green mist in front of you, and they begin to hurtle it forward in the direction of the city. You believe that this is this noxious gas that's intended to counteract the effects of what the mages in the city are doing. It is this like it's what it described it to be. It's like this aerial poison that they're sending in their direction. Meanwhile, in your direction, you begin to hear as these massive wind walls are being built, like thousands of feet high, that surround the city as you get into the 500 feet mark and now the 250 foot mark. And these winds are whipping at all of you, tearing directly into your masts on your ships and the rest of you. I need everyone to make a strength saving throw to hold their footing.
What's the poison do to me again?
Disadvantage on ability and attack roll, so this is not either of those.
Ability and attack roll.
Yeah, this is a saving throw. And he's holding up a 5.
One of the
13.
magical
you
armor
probably
charge
didn't
to add my
pass.
intelligence modifier to his strength.
There's that strength, yeah.
11.
And that is an 18.
I may be talking.
Okay, so sorry,
but I
anyone
am
that rolled lower than a 10, raise your hand. Cool.
Oh, hi.
Okay, cool. And he did. Right. So as the winds pick up, you're trying to brace yourselves in position. You'll hear various generals saying, "Hold firm," or "Stay together," because the idea is that you would all be able to buffet the winds together. But unfortunately, Chibatha, you stand there, and as Celine is looking on to you, you lose your footing and are trying to hold against the side of the ship, and instead fall directly onto the ground and are jostled in place. This is not just you fell down. This was kind of representative of the wind wall effect as you cut through it. I need you to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Bludgeoned.
Bludgeoned.
As you hear the wind almost blink off your armor, it's moving at such a high speed, and Celine reaches down to grab your arm to pick you back up. And how did she roll? And then she falls down. And also takes bludgeoning
It's
damage.
because of my chainmail and my giant dragon body.
And then somebody next to the two of you looks down and is going to reach down and grab you. Cool. And rolls a disadvantage because there are two people that is trying, and then they fall down as well. And then, all right, enough of this. Like 4 or 5 people collectively help you get up because this is silly. But you all take a little bit of bludgeoning damage as a result of this. You now move even closer, and then the sound that you heard earlier, that wow, 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 wow noise, begins to do something truly haunting. You hear as it goes from wow, 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 and the pitch shoots directly sky high into this, like an extremely high-pitched and piercing noise until it leaves your vocal, like your listening range or auditory range. I want...
What does Pillow think?
What does Pillow think?
Pillow
When
can
there's
still-
Yeah, why don't you roll for a pillow and see how... we're just going to do, just roll d20. Presumably this is like a con save.
16.
Cool. Pillow you can tell watching Pillow that she can hear it, but really doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But eventually the pitch will leave even Pillow's auditory register, and you hear what feels like a magical burst of energy coming from inside of the city of Carapace itself. It goes wah, wah, and it's completely silent. The waves that are now behind you as you get closer to the city, they're too far gone for it to be a factor to you, so they're effectively quiet, and this warbling noise has now completely ceased. This explosion of energy comes in front of you, and immediately, upon that moment in time, you hear and you see as 4 catapults launch flaming balls of basically flaming cannon balls, these projectiles, directly at all of you.
Oh.
I need for everyone to roll for initiative.
Nice. Well, that went well.
That's just a
Nat
straight
20, nat
d20.
20.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you add
It'll be 19.
your initiative.
Oh, I can have
value.
+1 for some reason.
8.
Why?
Probably your dex. Yeah. It's your
Oh,
dex.
okay.
19.
8.
I
Yeah.
got a 6.
How did you draw
Oh,
that?
Oh yes, I have my improved technique for this. Okay, if you have higher than a 20, raise your hand. If you have between 15 and 20.
Hi.
Cool. Lear, say yours.
20.
Great. Rai.
17. 18.
Lami.
19.
Okay. Chibatha, what are you?
6.
And Napeen?
8.
Great. We have it. Now, here's how this combat's going to work. You are starting your campaign with the largest combat I've personally ever run, and there are going to be some really unique traits here. The first, obviously, is that the world reacts to you and regardless of you. Things are happening outside of what you're immediately trying to do in combat. As things progress, as you dock and begin to fight, you're going to have some choices, but we are not doing this with maps. We're not doing this with extremely concrete initiatives for the enemies. They're going to all effectively take lair actions on your turns and reaction to your turns. I ruled this to where if you rolled low, the lair actions always happen at the start of your turn. And if you roll high, you get to act before the lair action responds to you. So that's just a very slight advantage to those who roll higher. Now, all of your ships are just about to dock. For Lami's position, we'll say that Mitchell has already casted Seed and Mage Armor and all these things that you've been trying to do to prepare for this battle. That's all happened. Those are actions have already been
I'll
taken.
call you Ragnus.
So your Phantom Seed comes from the ruby, and you see this gorgeous. Oh, you describe what it looks like. You can conjure it in with most of the visages in your control.
Yeah. This is That's a good question. I hadn't thought about that.
Okay, you think about that.
I'll think about
We'll get
that.
to you in a second.
Yeah.
So, the first thing to discover is what exactly happened to this teleportation spell. Well, it's time to explain what that weird noise was as it happened earlier. These cannonballs are going to come towards you. I'm going to have you roll luck to determine whether or not it even strikes your vessel and what you do after that. But first, and probably the most important thing, because I need everyone to at least see that this happens, even if your character may not have immediately perceived it, you will eventually see it. You see that there are these smaller units with large two-person cannons that are on the walls, and they are firing something in your direction. These are not normal cannonballs. Fire! As this cannonball hurtles in your direction, it begins to spark with a purple energy that accelerates in its explosion radius and its energy, the frequency of its sparking energy. Every second as it gets closer to you, these begin to do something you've never seen before. And truly, even Lear, with your artificing experience, no one in your brigade has ever seen. You watch as one of these smaller cannons fires. A cannonball falls at the start of the fight. It strikes the front right segment of one of the ferry ships that you are not currently on, so the third or the fourth one in the center. And you see an explosion of purple energy. An orb that shoots around it with a radius of 50 feet. So taking out roughly what would be a third of that particular ferry, or I guess it'd be like a quarter of that ferry. And then, when it's gone, you see that entire block, the sphere, has been completely and permanently removed from existence. It's as if that entire segment was erased from Photoshop, was plucked out of the air. No rubble, no humans, no blood, no cries. You watch as some of your fellow troops simply disappear in an explosion of purple light, the sphere, and just feet to the side, someone who is not in that immediate radius. These people startle back as the ship, now missing an entire front segment of it, begins to top and dip and begin to sink as those people immediately begin to abandon ship or use some of their mage's abilities in order to propel the vehicle the final 100 feet to land. You see this happen, and you notice as you look up, to your horror, there are at least 40 of these cannons on the walls, each firing these small cannonballs in addition to the catapults themselves. This purple energy has been primed from the get-go, and it seeks to, whether by banishment, teleportation, or obliteration, remove all of you from the face of Chrysalis. It's time for this battle to begin. Lear, by the way, I guess I should say this, your troops, your vanguard, is able to decisively conclude with your device, the device that you made, that the barrier was non-existent. They were confident in your navigation, giving you the most direct path to the city.
My device did that.
However,
Oh no.
it is possible that this was exactly what King Aderon or his generals had planned.
Well, that's not my fault.
So, it's true. You did your job. There was no mass teleportation circle, but in the interest of possibly telegraphing what is really at stake here, it seems as though they've relocated that magic into a projectile weapon, which threatens the entire strategy of your assault on the city of Carapace. Nonetheless, Velgradia persists. Yes?
Are any of the cannonballs coming towards generally my direction?
Yeah, so that we're gonna do that for almost every ferry individually. You are certain that none are. The major. Oh, actually, I was ruling the catapults. So the cannons. I'm going to roll D10.
Also, at
Use
this
it.
exact moment,
Yeah.
Napine suffers his first narcoleptic event and snaps into a shell and goes to sleep. Bye, see you later.
Napine,
Good night,
in a fit
Of narcolepsy.
of narcolepsy, falls asleep right at the key point in the beginning of battle.
My armor class is now 21.
That's an AC of 21.
Yeah, Toriel's get a 20.
Yeah, I'll resolve what's happening to Napine, because a lot of this really is because just like back and forth with what the environment is doing. So, Lear, on your turn, I'm gonna say roughly 2 cannonballs could strike your vessel. 0 catapult boulders will.
Okay, so I want to wait until they're within. I want to cast catapult on one of these
cannonballs.
Yeah.
I don't have to touch it. I just have to see it. And it has to be in a 60-foot range. And it flies in a straight line up to 90 feet in the direction I choose before falling to the ground, stopping early if it impacts against the solid surface. If the object would strike a creature, it has to make a dex saving throw, but I'm assuming that there's more going on there.
This is amazing. Yeah, so it's 1 to 5 pounds. How heavy is a cannonball? I said it was a two-person cannon. Here's what I'll do. It's probably heavier than 5 pounds. I'll make you roll Arcana for a chance to perform this spell exactly as intended.
Because I'm assuming it's a cannonball technically, and that it's fired from a cannon.
Yeah.
But since it's most of the damage is arcane,
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, wait, pause so I can give you some stakes here. So, if you succeed in this, the spell Catapult as written is literally, you just choose the object that isn't being worn or carried, and you just choose the direction that it flies, up to 90 feet. I just said you're about 100 feet away from the city walls itself. You could literally do an Uno reverse card on one of these cannoneers.
That's the plan.
So, now this doesn't need to be too difficult because I'm roughly gauging the cannonball at like 8 or 9 pounds. Why don't you roll Arcana for me? Just Arcana.
6.
Oh no! Okay, so here's what I'm going to allow you to do.
Okay.
So first, let's roll and find out if one of the two that I said could hit your vehicle is actually coming to you. So this is luck. You want to roll high.
Don't tell me now about that one. Oh, it's just luck. I was looking for like the luck.
What's your luck stat?
14.
Okay, so with your eyes watching the trajectory of one of these cannons that comes close to you, it might clip the edge of your vehicle. Are you still going to Are you still going to follow through on your plan here?
I'm still going to try and catapult that.
Absolutely. So now you're going to go ahead and cast Catapult. You see this magical energy shoot from your fingertips, and you're going to try to redirect it. Because 14 put it in a position where it wasn't in the center of the vehicle, despite the fact that you rolled a 6 on Arcana and that it's a pretty heavy projectile, you basically do like a glancing blow. So you're able to give it this, and you point it, you try to point it back at them, but ultimately what you do is you stop it short, like a, what's it called, a changeup in baseball, and it just, and it sinks directly. Yeah, and it literally, truly what happens, and just so you understand what's going on, is it hits the water, the sparking electricity bursts in the same radius as before, and it's like someone deleted that sphere of water underneath you, causing all the water around it to rush downward into it, including your vessel. So it's like you went into a huge break of a wave.
Not great.
And
Better than nothing.
I will. I'm just gonna roll. Your ship's doing fine. Your crew's able to handle it. Yeah.
I'm on the same ship.
Yes.
I'm looking at that.
Can I use free action, yell action? Artificers. And I'm gonna like yell for like all the whoever can hear anyone who might be an artificer, and I'm gonna yell, fire it back.
Yeah,
and
I think that's a great idea. I think that Syndra here. So, it's not Catapult is a good spell for your team to have. Not everyone has it stocked. You have a slight variety, and I said there were about 10 of you. Let's roughly approximate that. Half of your group has it stocked. Convenient. They've now got these cannons that have been supercharged. So you notice that some of your units next to you. Let's have Syndra do it for fun. Why don't you roll Syndra's Arcana exactly the same? We'll say that they have a +4 to Arcana.
Great. Oh. Okay, that's. What did that land on?
That dice is dead.
I never count.
It's dead. Syndra is now the hours dice from Taylor. Taylor Swift has never done me wrong. 17, baby.
So you see Syndra watch your motion as you cast one of the two projectiles off the side. I said earlier that there's only one other that could reasonably hit you. Just for fun, we'll see how this goes. It was bad luck, so it was coming towards the center of your vehicle. So Syndra watches your lead, and he nods to you, says, "That's a good idea," and then pulls out, I think it's a transmutation spell, so a topaz from his pocket, and then looks at this incoming cannonball, flicks it, casts a spell with the verbal component, and then takes this cannonball and goes, whoop, and just basically yeets it directly back at, with a 17. With a 17, we're going to give them a chance to get out of the way. We're going to see what happens. Ooh, dang. I gave their deck save a 19 plus whatever their core stats are. So you shoot it directly, Syndra sends it directly back at these cannoneers, and you see them go, boom, and they jump to the side. It strikes in place, and you see as a chunk of the wall on the top of it both completely disappears, and you see stones falling down. The cannon itself completely out of control. Syndra's doing pretty well. No, you're good. Now, what's ironic is you almost need more ammo. You almost need more ammo, but the cannons are not coming in your direction specifically. I'll say, just for raw luck, once again, unfortunately to you, there's so much chaos happening that your adjacent fairies with other mages on them aren't picking up on this. Your fairy has kind of observed what just happened, and I'm going to say they were going to try to do it as much as possible, but does not happen to your neighboring fairies unless something else changes. So yes, right, you just saw all of this happen. You're roughly one round from docking on the shores.
Okay. My question was more of, did the explosion and whoosh happen the moment it impacted the water, or did it sink into the water and then like take some time to do it?
Good question. Just the moment it hit something. Just like the moment it hit the top of the water, like broke the surface tension, it just.
Okay.
I think he's a clever sorcerer.
All right.
It's your. I mean, well, I guess Lami's next. Yeah, we'll come back to you. Y'all, this is all kind of happening at the same time.
I'm kind of just waiting.
Yeah. Just roughly, I know that time-wise, distances, and the way boats travel, blah blah blah. We're gonna say, after this round, you will be on the shore. So we'll take you to Lami. You're still in the midst of all of this. Is there anything you would like to do on this turn?
Oh man. So I think all I can do is I'll take whatever it is. I think it's all of your movement to mount the horse.
Yep.
Which is has a shimmering coat. That seems to ripple between deep midnight blue and a radiant celestial silver.
Ooh.
And then the mane is wispy and smoke-like.
Yes.
So
truly the most gorgeous
fancy.
ghost horse you can ever have in one place. Okay, so you're now on your horse.
Warhammer, shield, mounted.
Unfortunately, you're in a bit of a D-Day scenario where, like, there's not...
Hanging
You just
out.
have to pray that nothing happens. So I'm going to make you roll luck to see how many of these cannons and catapults are coming your way.
That is a 9.
Okay, so you were rolling for cannons. I was rolling for catapults, boulders. I rolled decent enough luck. You're good on the 4 like flaming balls. With a 9, that's going to give you 3 cannonballs coming in your direction.
Brutal.
I'm going to roll 3d20 to see how close they are to you. Oh man, Mitchell. They're not directly on top of you. They are just surrounding you. They are going to hit towards the center of your vehicle on all 3 sides of the 3 cannonballs that are coming in. So the question is, what does your ship have to protect you against this? I'm going to give General Tarkus, he's a quick thinker. Why don't you roll his intelligence? He only has +1 to intelligence.
General Tarkus with a 10.
Cool. He's desperately trying to figure out the quickest way to solve this problem. He wasn't prepared for the bizarre magic that is being thrown in their direction. He yells at the mages. He goes, "Mages, do something!" And one of these mages is going to, as desperately as possible, put effectively like a warding spell up that's going to protect against these cannonballs. How well do they do? That was a leaner. I rolled a natural 20. Nice. So you see, as a mage that was you don't even know them intimately. They were positioned across all of these fairies. At the stands at the helm, speaks to another one of the mages, and they collaboratively cast a spell that is powerful enough to provide a blocking blow for at least one. You know, with the 22 of the 3 cannonballs that are coming, nice. You see, poof, poof, and it explodes overhead, sucking in the air. As there's this weird like vacuumous void there, and you feel this gust of wind overhead, but you are perfectly safe from those 2. The third one strikes down about 30 feet to your left, and you see, just like what we observed on the ship in front, you would hear for about a split second screams of people who are being hurtled into another dimension, and then the left side of your ship is now completely gone, and you begin to tilt to the side. Yep. You infer that you might be able to make it to land, but you hear General Tarkus yell above the others, "Everyone prepare to swim!" So he does not think that that's going to happen. So yeah, and
have great swim speed.
given that it was kind of close to you, we have to do. You want to roll for Reem's luck and see how Reem turned out?
Oh, Weem, the swimming
I
guy?
thought Weem was on.
Oh, he's moving. You're right.
Weem's tread. He's
But
probably safe.
Why do you roll?
Actually.
Why do you roll
Shark?
again?
Echo bomb.
Why do you roll again to see if you knew anyone that was in there?
I'll take the shark. That's a 18.
Cool. So you did. So I'm gonna say that of the 20 members of your cavalry unit, 2 of the people that you have trained with and worked alongside, one of whom was from your graduating class, this cadet system, just completely vanished before your eyes. They might as well be dead. And you're preparing to dock on land.
Yeah, I will get a short trotting start, and then we will leap into the water. Horses can swim.
They can, yeah, absolutely.
They're not gifted swimmers.
Yep.
I mean, this is a magic horse. So.
Probably better
true.
than you can spell.
100-foot movement speed is the normal
Yeah.
phantom speed.
We'll just say roughly half speed in water.
So jump in.
Yeah.
How far away are these cannons once we're on the shore?
They the walls are about 50 feet high.
Oh, and we're like right up against them almost?
You're 100 feet away from them, yes.
No, but like once we're on shore, the walls
Still
are within
50 feet
100 feet away.
Oh no! I guess I didn't depict this in front of you. The city is water touching. Its walls are hang directly over the
What
water.
a stupid battle plan. What are we doing here? How did your horse guy just run into the wall?
Charge! Prepare to charge!
So
We'll take that wall head on! Yeah.
if it would help for you to feel as though your battle plan was justified, the rocky enclaves that are surrounding the city would make it impossible to attack directly
either
from
way,
either
sure.
other position.
Yeah.
And
My
it's just
crossbow
what you
is
need to do.
ready.
That's the main
Cool.
character.
You ready to crossbow? Right. What else do you do?
I am waiting. Whatever cannons are like roughly looking at our direction,
Yeah.
I'm trying to shoot right
So-
where the cannon would exit.
A crossbow has enough range for it's 100 plus 50 feet is what I just said.
Yeah.
But you triangulate that through for freaking whatever. I'm gonna say if you want, you can take a shot at one of these cannoneers.
Well, I don't want to take a shot at the cannoneer. I want to take
Ah.
a shot at the cannon leaving the cannon.
You want to shoot a cannonball with your crossbow?
Yeah, as it's ending, like I'm aiming for the hole of the cannon.
Just with a normal crossbow bolt.
Yeah. If it impacts one of those whoosh things, maybe it'll whoosh.
Oh, I like that. Okay, yeah. So
Trying to stuff the cannon.
Yeah.
we resolved the cannonballs that were coming in your direction.
Yeah,
Guaranteed, there's at least 4 more that are going to be aimed at other ships.
I'm waiting to see if I can like see one about to pop out and like release it beforehand.
Yeah, why don't you give me a? Do you have experience with like weapons mastery or like siege engines or anything like that?
No.
Okay, some of you
But he
submitted that
has
to me.
proficiency with land vehicles.
Land? No, that's not going to count. So just roll perception flat.
5.
Okay. So now this has to do with your character. If you want to just take a crack shot, assuming that one's about to shoot,
Yeah.
you can do it, but you're not very confident
I
which
mean,
one's
I'm
about
not
to
using
fire.
these crossbows any other time in this campaign, so
Okay,
let's go for
so roll just a crazy high attack roll with your crossbow.
it. What is my modifier for crossbow stuff?
So it should be under your weapon. It'll say plus X to hit. I think it's going to be plus 3.
Oh, is it? Why?
It should be on your character sheet underneath your like AC and your
Efficiency plus
actions.
dexterity.
I'll roll and then I'll see if it even matters. I rolled a 17.
That's gonna hit. Oh, I said crazy high, right? You're not shooting a unit. You're shooting a cannonball. Okay, this actually does matter. So let's pull up the crossbow stats. Is this a light crossbow or heavy crossbow?
Light crossbow.
So it is a. Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, your effective range is 80 to 320 feet. maybe y'all should have been shooting a little earlier.
I don't know.
This is not where fighters thrive. In a boat,
Yeah.
treading
boats
water. When you're being shot at with cannonballs.
Are you proficient with? Do you have a proficiency for the crossbow? I would assume so.
At
If
least
you
I
added
wasn't
it to your
taken to
starting
another
equipment.
dimension.
No.
Could be worse. Should be grateful.
Okay, then just add your dexterity to it.
So 18. No,
Okay.
wait. Yeah, 18.
So 18 is enough to get up to the part where a cannon is. I rolled raw luck for you while you were doing that, and you just sort of You're like, fire! You fire a crossbow. It goes up. It lands kind of at the feet of some of these cannons. It doesn't strike any of them. It doesn't lodge itself into a cannon nor strike a cannonball. Also, they weren't even firing, so it just sort of all happens. But you can also you have enough time to ready up your crossbow for next round as you're preparing to get to land. Which takes us to Napine. Napine has gone into her shell as Captain Aaliyah is saying, "Everyone prepare!" And I need to roll bad luck. We're gonna see what's going on here. I rolled a 10, so there are 2 cannonballs that are headed their way, and the position of those cannonballs are okay. Kind of bad and kind of okay. So these cannonballs are going to hurtle down. We're going to give the mages the exact same ability. Now this fairy is adjacent to Lear's. If they had seen what had happened, they might have learned from this. I'm going to roll just raw int and luck. They were not prepared for this, it seems. And instead, they're going to do the defensive spell that they had already prepared, the same one that you saw on Lami's vehicle, and quickly rolling that. They were once again, these mages are able to collaborate together, cast up one of these defensive spells, blocks this projectile in the air as it explodes on impact.
Yep.
And I'm gonna roll again for the other one, see what happens. They are all man. The mages came to fight. So they both of these.
Yeah, we did.
Shoot and shoot as this ship is actually completely intact. Pillow dutifully barks at the loud noises, hates thunderstorms, and certainly hates these exploding cannonballs. Chivatha, finally, we reach your vessel as you are hurtling across. Why don't you first roll luck to see how many cannonballs are headed your way?
I got a 7.
So, I've got bad news for you.
Great.
Of the 4 cannonballs, the 4 major catapults of flaming projectiles, none of them are going to hit except for the one that's coming straight for your vehicle.
Awesome.
What did you just roll for your luck?
7.
7. Also, 3 additional cannonballs are headed your way.
Cool.
Things are going to get really dicey really fast. You see as Celine, this dwarven warrior that you just fixed her sword, looks to you, looks up, braces for impact, and is there anything that you do before hellfire rains down on your vehicle?
Am I able to... Probably not. No. I'm a cleric. I know about magic. Do I recognize what the spell is that's teleporting or making people disappear?
Unless you do some divine thing, there's no way you would know this.
Alright, identify takes too long. It takes a minute.
I see.
So, I'm not gonna do that.
Sometimes all you can do is pray, brace, maybe say a word to someone or to yourself.
I guess I'm just gonna brace. I can't really do anything about giant things flying at my ship.
I'll give you advantage on the save that's coming your way. So first, let's roll for the same mages that are stocked on every ferry to see how well they defend. They fail the first of the 3 cannonballs, and they fail on the second of the 3 cannonballs. And they succeed on the last one. Very, very well, if that's any consolation.
Someone did their job.
Can I borrow my short little fat roller?
So before the fiery boulder comes down on top of you, Annie, I need you to roll d20 twice for bad luck, or for luck.
Yeah.
That's heavy. Oh gosh.
So I got a natural 1 and a 7. Alright.
Chivatha.
It was nice being in this campaign. I really had fun.
You look overhead as these 2 mages salute and pour one out for Chivatha. You see Chivatha. You look overhead. That sun rising just over to the side, the one that you believe will shine on a united people. Cannonballs fall, mages come together. They're desperately casting, but you see as it breaks through this barrier that it's creating, it's coming down directly on top of you. You have 2 seconds to say anything to yourself, to Tempest, to Celine, who's next to you. What do?
Brace! 2 seconds in the line.
You say the word brace, or you just brace?
I just say it.
You say brace!
Oh, he said grace.
So, just let me say grace real fast. In just that 1 second,
So your DM.
Thanks.
Secrets.
Everyone press F in chat for Shibatha.
It's okay. It's fine.
Come here.
F.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Can you swim? Oh wait, you're wearing plate mail.
Great.
Yeah, I'm wearing a lot of armor
So-
and a shield.
This is definitely not.
This cannonball is coming down directly for you. I rolled luck on the catapult also. It is also coming down directly adjacent to you. I'm going to say slightly behind you. And so all of this happening at once. One of the 3 catapults successfully deflected. You see immediately to your right, about 20 feet away, not too far either, that a cannonball does break through and strike, and vroom, you see the whole piece disappear. And then the catapult lands. A fiery explosion of material destruction shatters the ship into 2 pieces, and you see as some of your units behind you are effectively pulverized on impact, them screaming in pain, and then you feel as like a catapult mechanism with a fulcrum at the center of the ship that at impact your front gets launched forward. As you fly forward and you brace, I need you to make a strength saving throw. Actually, it's a dex saving throw with advantage.
I got a fat 8. Wait, dex saving throw?
Dex saving throw with advantage.
Yeah, I got a 6.
With advantage?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Shibatha, we didn't know you.
We really didn't.
So you hurtle yourself forward, and this cannonball that was coming directly for you, lucky you, unlucky people behind you, actually strikes down as you're shooting forward in the direction of the Capitol, and in this case, obliterates is the right word, the people that were immediately behind you. These are your comrades. In fact, why don't you roll luck for Celine?
Oh, Celine's totally tough.
What we called Celine was gonna
Yeah,
be
No, I believe. Go
I
Celine.
got a 13.
13's enough? Celine holds on, comes with you. You, unfortunately, as you're hurtled forward, you get thrown off the ship, and you are now roughly 60 feet from the shoreline, in about 3 feet of water, in the waves themselves as you're preparing to get closer to land.
Oh, 3 feet is nothing.
Well, at least
3 feet of
the
water,
people that
60 feet
were
of distance.
crushed by
Yeah.
rock also immediately got
I'm not gonna
obliterated,
drown.
Hopefully put out of their misery.
So,
hopefully.
with that, you are now face down in the water. You're gonna have to stand up in a second. Hopefully, nothing else bad happens to you. Yikes! That was your vessel has gotten by far the worst of it. At this point,
There is no vessel.
Did I take any damage?
did you?
Yeah. I'm just like, for all those horrible rolls, I'm fine.
That's how war is.
Honestly, that's just kind of how it goes.
Okay.
You either instantly die because of a siege machine, or you don't take any damage. You
Okay.
kind of got lucky with the if I had rolled that the catapult wasn't also striking you, I think there's a good likelihood you just get sort of or obliterated. So you find yourselves in the water, close to land. It is now the top of only round 2, but even in all of that action, all of this has occurred. Your vessels will now, at the start of your turns, be getting to land. This is the round where you are to engage directly with the enemy, and I will say that at the top of the round, you notice that all these foot soldiers have immediately begun preparing themselves for direct armed combat on land. You see foot soldiers and pike soldiers and archers that are lining the walls, people that are preparing for a real fight. Now, let's take ourselves to Lear. What do you do on your turn?
Okay, so the amethyst soldiers are getting ready for the frontless strike, right?
Yeah.
No more cannonballs coming at this moment.
There are... No, we'll say that's it.
All right.
I mean, I said that Lear, Lummy, and Rai get to act before their actions, so things will happen after your turns.
What's our plan to get up on top
How
of this
far
wall?
away are the foot soldiers from me currently?
50 feet up, right?
Yeah, 50 feet on the walls. Yeah, sorry, good point. It is worth mentioning that y'all had a plan for this.
I was about to say, shouldn't we know about the plan?
Yeah, I was for cinematic purposes, I was only going to describe this as it happened in real time, but the moment that your vessels that are still intact, are actually within range, your mages have been preparing a spell of basically large group teleportation. It's a mass teleportation, sir. And so you'll notice that they begin to cast them at the front of the vessels doing really the best description I have is Portal the video game. You have a that's going to take you directly up onto the walls.
Nice.
And there you have. Yeah, you'll notice that the Amethyst soldiers themselves were prepared for this. They did not stock the walls with archers. They have like spearmen preparing for y'all to enter the multiple portals up there. So, oof, good luck. The portals are now in position.
How many people are on the wall? How close am I to the portal?
You are, let's just say 30 feet. Sure, you can get there this round. And also that the people on the wall will say are roughly in even numbers with your troops. So for a given 10 by 10 foot area, there might be like 12 to 15 soldiers.
It would be a shame if someone walked through the portal and cast Thunder Wave looking at it.
It would be a true shame. Why don't you tell us what you do?
Lear, having sort of reveling in the fact that his friend Syndra has taken out
Straight up
this wall, is amped up, is ready to go, has seen that the portals are open, and is, if not the first handful, very sort of dumb, but Lear is very high and low whiz.
High and low whiz.
He's like, oh, I am ready. And so he walks that 15 feet to the portal.
Yep.
And once he is through, the first thing that is coming out of his little arcane focus that is on like, not like fully Iron Man, but like, you know, like little like
oh yeah, I got you.
like attached to his palm.
Yeah, you got a little mechanical augment there.
Thunder Wave.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Cool. So yeah. What's the exact language on the?
A wave of thunderous force sweeps out from this focus. Each creature in a 15-foot cube originating from me must make a Constitution saving throw. On the failed save, the creature takes 2d8 thunder damages pushed 10 feet away from me.
Yeah.
On the successful save, they take half as much damage and are
Cool.
not pushed. In addition, unsecured objects that are completely within the area of effect are automatically pushed 10 feet away from me by the spell's effect.
Cool.
And the spell emits the thunder spoon audible out to 300 feet.
Okay. So I think that you said 15-foot cube. I'm going to keep my number from earlier. We're going to say there are 12 units in range. Now, I'm going to say that the strategy was not to jam your squishy body through the portal first, because I think everyone was aware of the fact that the Amethyst Kingdom would be prepared for that. So you're going to have some foot soldiers that are heavily armored that can take more hits. They go in first. That's protocol.
Yeah.
You are one of the supporting casters.
Yeah,
so you're going to go in afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly roll just to see how they're doing to start off. They're doing great. I rolled 15 into 16. So your troops go in. They begin actually pushing them back. So they buy enough space for your troops, including yourself, to fully get through on your chunk of the wall. Now, I'm not going to make you do this like, can I target my own units or not? Like, I'm going to say you can get into a position where you can aim the spell to hit at least 9 of these people. Not all of them, because you're not on the front lines, unless you want to push someone aside and get there. You tell me if you want to do that. But you've been trained to try to cast from the back.
Lear has been trained.
Lear's been trained, okay.
Lear's been trained. He's not smart. He's not wise, but he's been trained.
Okay, so I'm going to now roll, you said it was a con save, for all 9 of these units that are affected by this explosive thunder wave spell. I'm doing in groups of 3. And what's the save?
It is a Constitution save. Spell save is 12.
Oh, man, okay. I rolled 12, 11, and 6. So 2/3, which is say 6 of the units all fail, and the remaining 3 save.
Okay, so they're going to take 4 damage each if they saved. If they didn't save, they take 2 damage. They are pushed.
2 and 4.
Additionally, those foot soldiers are pushed 10 feet away that didn't save.
Got it.
And the ones that are pushed 5 feet away.
Okay, so you shove them all back as they are stumbling in place. There are cannons there that are on the wall. They don't move. They're fastened per the language of your spell, but they're now basically out of position to use them. Your troops can now grab it if that is something in your purview. I'd say that's a good turn. Well done. So Lami, you are next. You are now on your steed on land. You have your full turn ahead of you.
Yeah. So I'm on land. I'm looking for. So there's a portal
Oh, your troops are intending to siege the front entrance, the front gate.
Okay, do we have siege works? How do we plan to open the front gate?
Good question. I think I did not
To
build.
what
like,
extent am I a grunt?
Yeah.
Who has like someone barking out orders that I just follow every round?
Yeah.
Versus like acting unilaterally because it's chaos.
Cavalry units are closer to the autonomous end of things, so I'm going to give you some freedom to do what you like with that. You know that the general plan is you need to break the front line. You need to break the front line. That's going to give you access to the entrance to the city. Okay.
And the gate is closed, I assume?
Yeah.
We don't have siege works.
They're on the way. You need to buy time for them to set up, basically.
Yeah. I just don't want to pitch camp. You know.
So your units are largely trained to do what cavalry units do, which is flank and break the front line. That is.
Yeah. But they don't have infantry on the ground. They're on the wall, presumably.
There are some units assembling on the ground.
Outside of the gate. Like they sallied out and then they shut the gate behind them.
They took a
Just
sally forth
what
tour.
I'm supposed to do here.
What matters is your duty to your people is to go and attack these darn purples.
All right. I assume the comrades in my unit are ready to go.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm on Ragnus, and I turn to the group. Tarkus is riding with us.
Yeah, he's with you.
He's on horseback.
Yeah, he's all with you.
Tarkus, what do you have us do?
Right side, let's go! And he's basically calling for a maneuver you've practiced frequently, which is to break with a certain angle that's going to allow you to immediately pincer back on the remaining forces there.
Okay, so we're attacking the infantry in front of the wall.
Yeah.
That's what I hear him articulate.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Looks like we're doing this for Weem. And I bend down and I whisper.
For Weem!
And so as we start riding and like move up to a gallop, I bend down and I whisper into Ragnus's ears, quoting from Barak, "Hear me, kin of the mountain's core. This darkness sees to sow doubt among us. Have no fear. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get through this okay." And then as Ragnus charges, so I give kind of like stirrup maneuver for Ragnus to charge.
Yeah.
I sort of like bend down a little bit, almost as though like kind of like this. So I have a shield at Warhammer, so I'm getting kind of high behind the shield and just barely be peeking out, and mostly relying on Ragnus to like have the initiative to go in.
Yep.
And then hopefully I'll spring into action. That's so I charge in.
Yeah, I say you charge in. You see that there are these heavily armored, shielding and pike holding foot soldiers for the Amethyst Kingdom that are stationed outside. They're in rows that are actually pretty thinly built because they did not build them immediately. They're reacting to your flanking maneuvers on the outside of the walls. I think they're expecting you to do the teleport maneuver. And so as they're setting up, they're only 2 deep, which means you have a chance to break through. I'm going to go ahead and let you attack on them right now as you and Ragnus immediately begin to penetrate the front of this line.
Right on. So, riding through, swinging with the Warhammer. That is a nat 20.
Hey! So, you see as this dwarven warrior, what are you, 4'8" or?
4'5".
Okay, this 4'5" dwarven warrior holding back his shield comes in and just, you have a Warhammer, right?
The game of golf was invented at the same time.
So tell me, the way I like to do damage is max damage, roll on top of that.
Max damage and then roll. So 8
plus
7. That's 15 damage.
Sweet, yeah. So you see as you just boom, as one of these units gets rocked off his feet. One of these lower level infantry units, literally, like, they might be able to get up in a second, but they're not getting up for a while. And you are able to punch through that line, and you're preparing for the other one that's coming up. So there you go. You see, why don't you roll luck for your team as a result of this?
That is a 5.
5. You notice your team is not doing quite as well as you have. You see Tarkus look at the other units and be like, Why can't you all fight like him? As the rest of you,
yelling at you last night for.
you need to stay in the fight. You need to be focused. No, everyone be like him. So after all that has happened, you're losing some ground to these units. I'm gonna say your chunk of the line you're maintaining hold of because of your individual efforts, frankly.
This is the same energy as me being told I was the best blocker on my 7th grade football team.
Yeah, hey, with your crit, grab some inspiration. You can give it to any catch. You can give it to any ally that is making an attack near you, or someone that you see that is making an attack. Do you want to use it now or do you want to use it later? I guess you want to use it now. Otherwise, you might use it later. During this first line.
I'll use it later.
Cool. So you hold that. So people basically it represents some of your fellow troops see you and they're like, "Wow, yeah, let's go!" Like Ruby Empire. So there you go. Cool. Lummy's done. Right, you're up. You see this portal has appeared in front of you. You saw Lear go up and cast Thunder Wave on everyone. You can jump into the portal. You can stay on the ship, or you can walk around the wall.
Is Vinoir next to me?
Yeah, he is.
All right, cool. I'm gonna take Vinoir, myself, and then whoever's on my left.
Jaundice.
I'm gonna cast
JOHNDIC.
Yep, that is exactly it. It's Jaundice.
Who dis? Jaundice.
I'm gonna grab both of them, and I'll say we fight together, and I'm gonna cast Bless on.
Nice. Okay, cool. I will keep that in mind.
We'll run.
Your Bless is a D4, right?
Yeah, D4 on attacks and save.
Cool. And by the way, you actually left the realm of the sickening radius, so you are not currently poisoned.
Oh, thank goodness.
It might have factored into something else, but yeah. So what do you do next?
We go through the portal.
Walk through the portal. You're now in position. You have a lot of space that's been purchased for you because of both the successful foot soldiers and also Lear's individual casting of thunder wave. So you're in really good position right now. Bless was your action, I guess. Okay, cool. Go. So everyone is like amped up. You have Bless as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Well, there you go. So your units are in position. I mean, they have actions. What do they do with that? I'm going to roll and add D4 as they charge in and roll some attacks. Actually, you roll it. You should be able to roll it. So it's D20 with that D4 on top of it because it's an attack roll that they're taking. And roll twice for your 2 allies.
13 for 1.
Okay, 13 is just enough to hit the foot soldiers that are there.
21.
Cool. So that Bless definitely helped one of your units, but you see as Syndra and I really think
Jaundice.
I'm okay with this.
Vinoir.
If you say it, it's canon. So
yeah,
they charge through, they're like and then you see as their blades like ring true or their maces are striking, and they're able to start knocking down some of these soldiers that are there. You hear some of the troops on the wall begin to cry, like to yell out that they need to reform their troops or get more reinforcements or whatever.
Fruits?
Some more fruits. Some more forces.
Fruit Loops.
Some little Fruit Loops for them. Okay, which takes us to Naveen. You just felt your shell wobble in place as your vessel has reached land. You now know that the next maneuver is to make sure that everyone gets off the ship safely. And then what happens next is you're supposed to basically defend the ship, so that way you have either an escape route if there's retreating motion that's to be used, or more importantly, for you to be able to leverage it to take the units to a different part of the wall if necessary. So that's what you're up to right now. There are foot soldiers roughly like 100 feet away from you, but those are the ones that, like, say, Mitchell's forces are engaging with.
Has anyone interacted with a giant ball thing and not gone like, has there anyone like deflected or
Technically speaking.
So
one guy's shoulder was left.
two of your you got struck with 2 cannonballs and 0 boulders, and they were both successfully deflected while you were in your shell. So you wake up and you're like, the ship is perfectly fine. Surely every ferry vessel is in equally good condition right now, and none of them have been damaged in any way. I think it's your perception of the situation.
Nice. Great. Are there any coming for our ship currently?
No, I said after that first round, they're not currently shooting cannonballs at you.
Are there threats coming towards the ship, and are there people still on the ship? Like, what are...
So people on your ship are immediately they're disembarking, just like you saw with everyone else.
Okay,
they're
cool.
getting off. There's the teleporter. There's like a portal at the front that's taking yourself directly up onto the walls.
It's probably important.
Yeah.
I don't have headphones, so I wasn't actually listening to live stream. So
That's
basically,
fine.
I just woke up and I have no idea what's going on.
That's totally reasonable.
Exactly.
Totally reasonable.
So we are trying to get through the portal, or are people coming?
You would have known this plan from before the fight even
Got it.
started. Many of your foot soldiers are being thrown straight up onto the wall through the portal.
Thank you. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
What you can do.
people are exiting my ship. Part of my job is to guard the ship, but there's no threats coming towards the ship at this point.
Sure. Yeah.
In which case, I luckily have a very normal movement speed, so I'm kind of curious about what's happening with this portal situation.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if you wish to follow through with the
Oh,
troops
actually,
that
it
are
takes
going-
me a turn to get out of my shell, though. I mean, in action, if that matters.
Sure, but that's not your movement.
Okay, good.
So it just means you can't dash.
Yeah,
You can't dash to action. So 30, 20. What's your speed?
30.
Oh, yeah, 30 feet. Yeah, great. It's very normal. It's a normal turtle speed. Okay, cool. I was gonna say 30. 30 is enough for you to get through the portal. So you have no action, but you go through the portal. You're now on top of the wall. And why don't you roll two? No, just 1d20 for luck to see how your units are doing fighting the soldiers up there.
16.
Wow, great. Okay, looks like everyone's doing well on the wall. So your foot soldiers are successfully pushing them back. You are now on the wall. You don't have an action, but you have positioned yourself where you can see down 50 feet to where your ship is.
Nice.
The portal will remain active as long as the mage that is the two mages casting it aren't killed or obliterated.
Are they hanging out with them?
What's that?
Are those?
You were on a different wall from Lear and Rye.
Right, but where are the mages?
On the ship.
Oh, on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty.
Mage guardian of the mage.
So, with that, Shibatha, you are now face down in the water next to the land, gasping for air and wondering if your friends survived, if Celine is alive, if others made it, and you hear a voice as you are pulled out of the water. Celine has grabbed you by the back and is lifting you up onto your feet. You can
Okay.
save your movement because she helps you up.
Cool.
Then you see in front of you, you see around you that roughly a third of your remaining forces from your ferry are all rushing to land. And roll luck. Why don't you roll? Let's do D4 minus 3. D4 minus 2.
-1.
Your mages responsible for casting that teleporter we just talked about are all dead or obliterated.
Okay.
Your forces have no way up onto the wall right now unless you can either get through one of the side gates that like the one Mitchell is attacking, or you can call for help from someone else. You're 50 feet down. What do you do?
Grappling hook.
I look down the wall. Are there any entrances?
Yeah, there is a traditional
Wait.
a cart and carrier gate that is locked. It is gated shut, and there are troops there that are preparing for a fight.
On our side of the wall? Oh, let's go fight them.
Yeah, you have enough speed to get there because you got helped out by Celine.
Alright. I'm gonna go
Fools.
cast
Fighting in front of your
Searing
That's
Smite and then
pretty
hit him with a
dumb. That's
mace.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Get
Searing
it,
Smite.
Samantha.
Go. Let's
go.
Bread.
Let's go.
15 plus 4.
19 is gonna hit these units. So
Great.
you see as this mace begins to sear with a kinetic metallic heat, and you strike one of these pikemen as you run in. Why do you? Yeah, go ahead and roll that attack.
Smoke.
Okay, so it's 4 plus 2. Wait, is there a save for this? Not
It's an attack roll, so you know.
It's Searing Smite.
Oh, the Searing Smite part. Yeah.
Yeah, so the damage from the attack roll is 4.
Okay.
And then do a con save.
Okay.
13.
Passes.
Okay, so on a successful okay, so it does nothing.
Okay, so
Carry
you
on.
see this unit, you strike him, and he's got heavily armored. You can barely see through the grate in his helmet, but you notice that there's a wincing motion as he grunts to himself. He's like, "Ugh, I'm gonna get you for that."
No, you're fine.
And then he immediately attacks you,
Yeah.
and he misses.
I'm
gonna get
armored
you.
too, so
I am going to get you. Meanwhile, Mitchell, Lami is attacked by a unit that is adjacent to you as you swing by, and he does hit you as this pike comes up and it's going to jab you in the side. You see some blood start to emerge from your side, and I want you to take 6 points of piercing damage.
Pierced.
Awesome.
Did the horse get hit?
They
No.
Gentlemen, we
Great.
don't attack the horse.
Especially ones that disappear when you attack them.
That's not common knowledge in this kingdom.
Yeah, they're
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe they'll attack your horse. Maybe they'll attack your horse.
barbarians
Cool.
nothing.
You two are largely.
This is a reason to investigate.
So Wes and Michael, so Lear and Rye are close to the enemy units. I am going to give them a chance to attack you based on how the flow of the fight is gone. And I have your
My AC is 14 now.
because of mage armor. Yes. What was yours? Is 13.
Mine is
Yeah.
13.
Cool. You see as one foot soldier comes up with a broadsword and he swings in the direction of Lear and barely it misses you. You're able to slide to the side, make sure that it's wide on you. Wes, you with 14 also exactly they exactly miss by 1.
Nice.
That dexterity 1 point.
It really, I mean, it genuinely mattered. So, okay, cool. So cool. No one's getting hit. It's all except for Mitchell. Mitchell's getting stabbed.
Very cool.
Cool. And you're
Mr. AC,
up there.
19.
You're up there. You're at the kind of the back of your unit, so you won't have to
This
attack.
little
That makes
grunt
sense.
hit
Cool.
me.
At this point,
What up?
at the beginning of round 3, as things are happening, you hear. Remember the noise from earlier, which went from a warbling noise to an extremely high-pitched noise, which had a bit of a sparked explosion. Then, you see something that I would imagine would scare most of you. This high-pitched noise.
Blue sky. It's gotta be Skylight.
It begins to focus in the center of the city, close to the top of one of its tallest towers. A beaming purple energy that then radiates down in a visible spectrum of these purplish violet-hued lights that shoot directly in the direction of many of the captains of the guards that are there. You watch these more decorated, ornate veteran soldiers
okay.
as this energy seeps into their bodies.
On our side or theirs?
The bad guys. You notice that all of them are wielding something you would not have expected. I need anyone that is on the front lines, which is all of you. All of you are now on the front lines. Yeah.
Back up front lines.
I whenever it's a group perception or investigation, I have to just take 2 rolls. It's way too easy otherwise. So I'm gonna let 2 people roll investigation. Flat.
Investigation flat, so no modifiers.
No, well, sorry, just meaning no advantage or disadvantage.
20 total.
Cool. And one other person can roll.
Sure. 9.
So, Lear, you see as these commanders pull out a weapon they don't ever use in combat, they're longbows. They start to pull these out, and there's an energy that begins to fuse directly down their arms and into the string of the bow as they begin to pull it back. And you see, Lear, with your 20 mod, I will tell you this, on the tips of their bows seem to be infused amethyst gemstones with a powerful energy to it that you have never seen used in this way in combat before. They're preparing for some kind of calculated strike. And this is at the top of the round, and you are first.
Ruby shine? Why don't these purple bastards ever stand and fight? I am going to, are any of the, so you said there were cannons near us, right?
Yeah, there's one cannon near you.
Can I turn it around and maybe fire it at someone?
I love yes-anding, but the idea of rotating a cannon in one round is
Okay.
impossible. Unless you have some wild spell
Rally some
application.
friends to help you.
Yeah, maybe 5 people taking an action together would be enough to maybe flip it around in 6 seconds.
Yeah,
How about this?
then
If you
firing
roll-
it as an action, and I...
No. Let's
Okay.
give it a shot. If you roll a good enough persuasion, you can rally your soldiers around you to stop, doing their job of fighting and actually, put their hands to work on this.
I'm assuming if he notices this, it's within eyeshot of me because I'm next to him, or I'm close enough to him.
Oh, that's true. I had
Can
2 of you
I
roll to
pull
represent
him?
the party. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also know this.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm just a guy with a hammer.
I'm going to yell, to the cannons! And, just roll persuasion here is also just, hopefully I've said enough.
Yeah.
Fast enough.
Give it a shot.
Oh, if I see most dice. Oh, wait, Taylor Swift has never done me wrong.
Yeah.
So,
Taylor Swift.
yeah.
She's done me wrong.
Oh!
Wait. Okay.
These,
So.
for the audio listener, these are Taylor Swift dice. They are.
Okay.
Rachel,
Well,
it's a
14.
resin.
Okay, 14. Got it. I'm gonna roll for the countenance of your fellow soldiers.
Did you roll it for me specifically?
Now you've got bad blood.
You're your own person. You can decide.
I'm right next to him though. Oh,
Yeah. Do you want to help?
that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I rolled to see your threshold that you needed to pass in order to get these guys in, and I rolled a 16. So unfortunately, your units there don't seem to be extremely excited about dropping their arms.
Wait, I got my boys that I blessed. I got Jaundice and
My
Vishnu.
blessed boys.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm gonna.
you go again. You also roll persuasion.
Oh yeah. Like 23.
Don't take shit. Okay,
So,
remember how earlier I said like 5-ish people? That's like kind of exactly enough. I'd say maybe you got maybe one soldier to help out. Yeah. So I'm gonna say all of you are like, okay, sure. So why don't you two together roll an athletics check to whip this thing around?
That's a strength-based check. I'm going to
Strength-based skill.
expend
Yeah.
another one of my charges.
Yeah, I like that. Good call.
16.
That is a plus my modifier, so 18.
Okay, cool.
Let's go.
Bless is it's a timed.
Yeah,
thing,
less
right?
than a minute.
Yeah, so they still have bless. I'm just gonna roll for both of them.
Oh wait, do I get blessed with that too?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's on all ability checks, right?
Or Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Bless,
Nice
attack
reason.
and save throws.
Oh, then no.
Okay, never mind.
Never mind.
So beautiful.
Yeah, you're just moving a thing. Okay, cool. So, I'm gonna say that is like it's like just enough. Wait, what did you roll with allies
16?
for your allies?
Oh, without
Yeah.
I did. I rolled 16.
Go ahead,
myself.
roll for both of them combined.
Another a 15 and a 7.
Okay, I was gonna take the 15 for both, so this works in your favor. Yeah, so both combined. I'm gonna say that's enough. That is enough for all of you in one round to be like, pick it up, and you see as these 5 creatures just rotate this cannon in place. And I mean, look, you're an artificer. You don't need to roll for this. There's a cannonball there. Can you infuse it with the powers of maybe? But you'd have to spend like a turn doing it.
All I need to do is shrapnel someone.
Great. So you're just gonna load it normally.
Load it normally and fire it. How
Oh yeah. It's
would I know how to position it to fire either at that purple beam? Is it within firing range?
No, it's not. It's way too
Right.
high.
I'm gonna fire it then at the closest recipient of that purple beam.
Great. I think you can do that. So go ahead and just roll your attack roll. This all happened in a round because you were able to get a lot of help. Oh, and the cannon is +5 to hit.
Great. 12.
12 total?
Yes.
Yeah, that's gonna miss. So you see as this cannon, and it's not even really like, it's like kind of like shrapnel, kind of just, and strikes the wall, but not in a concentrated way. It doesn't do permanent damage. It also doesn't get too close to this general that you're fighting.
But it does it hit some like grunts or something?
Roll luck.
6.
Yeah, a guy like it hits like a barrier next to the dude, and then some wood like falls on him. He's like, ow, my neck. Like that's
I tried.
Y'all tried. But now the cannon is in position for future attacks. That's a thing. Cool. So, Lami, you are up next.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Almost
Oh, and I know we're definitely behind. I know that after this round, the session will be at a stopping place, so I would estimate about 20 minutes left.
Great.
Cool.
The infantry that are on the ground here in front of the gate, there's pikemen.
Yep.
What other types of soldiers?
Oh, they are reinforced with some foot soldiers that have not got there. They're like filing in right now.
Okay, filing in from
The gate.
No, the gate was shut. They're still just getting.
just like assembling themselves into rank and file.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They're not as organized as the Ruby
Just
Empire.
curious. The gate was open.
You know what? I don't need to script all of this. Maybe they were, needlessly negligent. Why don't you just roll crazy high luck to see what happens?
That's an 8.
No. They were indeed actually competent.
Yeah. You know what I want? I want a big pokey stick. I want to ride up to. So I'm going to bring out my rope I have in my adventurer's kit. I'm gonna bring out my rope.
Just rapidly pulls it out.
And I just got stabbed by a pikeman, so I'm going to.
Yeah, he's right there. He's next to you. He's laughing at you.
To grab his pike, wrap the rope twice, and then right away. I want his pike. It's more. I'm just trying to like tug a war with this pike and get it out.
Yeah, I'll roll sleight of hand.
That is a nat 20.
Oh my god.
But on the sleight of hand, that puts me at 20.
Oh my gosh. So I was gonna roll a contested strength
I want a
check.
pole arm, but you don't get it in starting equipment.
So my thought was like, how fast you really have to be to wrap a rope around a spear right in the middle of having gotten stabbed by said spear? Like normally you'd be, doubled over in pain from that, but man. So nat 20, no contested strength. You do it so fast, he doesn't see it coming, and you call Ragnus to start running away, and it just the force of that alone yanks it from his hands before he's able to like most people don't try to steal the spear they've been stabbed with. And you, I guess you have a spear now that is tipped in your own blood.
Is it a spear or a pike?
It's a pike. Yeah, notably a pike. Congrats on your pike.
Yeah, I got a pike.
If you want to do a bonus action like thing, I'll let you do that. Otherwise, it'll be Rye on deck.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would do bonus action is shout over to the rest of my troops. The ones in the back, they don't have pikes. Let's charge them.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, you roll persuasion.
That's another nat 20.
Come on! That's 3 in a row!
It's a 19.
I don't care. And that 20 is good enough for me. It's very funny. You minus 1 to persuasion.
Technically.
So, you know what? Sometimes people lead with their action. Maybe that's just what it is. They just lead with their action. So, you pull this ridiculous maneuver. So, your units, what they basically see is you clock a dude so hard he immediately is knocked unconscious. You then get stabbed in the side. Then you're like, mine, yoink. And then you say, attack those guys. And everyone's like, somehow, we really believe in this guy's leadership. And with that 20, Tarkus is like, Tarkus, who was just praising you a second ago, was like, follow his lead! And so everyone starts to tail
stabbed.
They're tailing even more.
Right here.
It's tailing even more aggressively to try to identify the swords, the sword fighters that are in the back of the pike that are just assembling in. This will give your group a notable advantage. Why don't we quickly wrap up this entire combat for your side by you rolling 3 attacks, and we're going to give. Oh, okay, yeah, go ahead and do that.
So 12, 22, 22.
Okay, 22. And you didn't add anything to it, right?
That is the. Oh no, that I used. Those were all with my attack bonus.
That's fine. That's what I was actually going to ask for. I was going to say before you rolled, but this seems pretty obvious. You're allowed to re-roll one of them because of this advanced maneuver that you introduced.
Yeah, well,
so re-roll 12.
To another 22.
Oh my gosh, 3 22s?
Yeah, I rolled well there.
Yeah, dude. So
But now I'm fighting with a bike.
Notably.
Going down
longer
horse,
than a
and
spear.
it's got 10-foot reach, right? So I don't have to get as close.
It does, yeah. It makes the
Better
sword,
when you
makes the
have a
sword
0
big.
hit point mount, and they'll all poke 'em.
This is exactly the strategy Alexander the Great used.
That's right.
So, Lonnie, I can't imagine this fight going better for your group. I'm going to say within about 2 more rounds of combat, you will have fully routed everyone on that side of the field, thus giving your entire ferry full access
This
to
poor
the
guy
game.
put outside the walls.
Maybe we need a little bit more support.
Came all this way just to die.
So, your troops are obviously doing a great job. Let's move on to Rye. You have just helped rotate a cannon. I'm still going to give you an action.
Oh, thank you.
You deserve it.
The cannon doesn't work, so how many glowing dudes are close within 120 feet of me?
Oh, jeez. With 120 feet, 8.
There's 8.
But they're equally spaced.
Okay.
Equidistant from each other and from
But
you.
they're 2. Oh, they're all equidistant from me. Jeez.
Yeah, roughly.
There's none that are close. Ish. That's fine. That's
No, it's okay. No. Closest one is 80 feet away.
Cool. And the next one's 80 feet away as well.
Roughly, yeah.
I'm just gonna hit the 2 that are within line of sight of me, I guess.
Yeah, I'd say you have line of sight because they're trying to train an arrow on you, so they have line of sight.
I'm gonna try to hit 2 of them with the Chaos Bolt.
Okay, you're like twinning a spell.
Twinning a spell.
Yeah, all right, cool. So these are. I'll let you roll your attacks.
Yeah. I roll them separately.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So first one.
Yeah. So in total, there are roughly 16 generals. I'm just gonna say they're like 8 within Rise range.
I add my charisma modifier.
Yes, to your spellcasting attacks.
Yes,
because you are a sorcerer.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. So
Final
that
answer, yes.
20,
Yep. Wow. Okay. Yeah. 20 will definitely hit these generals.
and then the other one is a much better, like 25.
25. Dude came to fight. Yeah, Bless is definitely helping you out here. So you see as Rye up on the wall, and I'm gonna say Lear, you see this in action. He sees his cannon go off. He pegs 2 of these guys. And how do you do? What's the motion that you use to cast this twin spell?
Oh gosh. I can choose.
I mean, why not?
I don't know. Because it's just got to be so extra.
Exactly.
As
Yes.
I'm casting, I'm saying whatever verbal incantation I have to
Yeah.
do, but I'm also slicking back my headband and giving it a tighten pull at the back. And I send it forward.
With like one hand on the back of your head.
Yeah.
Whoa! I like the idea that the gem you're using for this is like bejeweled into your headband. So you're like shooting beams from your headband.
Yeah.
Just like a. So yeah, you cast these spells. Roll for damage on these 2 guys.
And this doesn't affect that because it's just hit. Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you in advance just because this will make it more fun for you. What the generals are about to do is like casting a spell. Your damage has a chance to throw their concentration
Perfect. Can I use this D8?
because they are
Yes,
channeling some magic into their bows. So there's a chance you could stop them from firing the magic.
Oh, that is literally the worst. 4.
4 damage to one of them. Okay, cool. And then the other
Is a little bit better at 13.
13. Cool. I'm gonna roll their con saves. Dude, first one fails.
roll 4 damage.
And that was on the 4. That was the 4 damage one. The second one fails also. Yeah.
go.
So they rolled a 4 and a 3. So you literally take these shots off these 2, and these guys are channeling energy magic through their arms. Lear, you observe in real time the energy is shooting down their arms and into the bow through this purpled string that is now lighting up with magic. When they get shot, you see them sort of startle in place, and the magic reverses course. It's now going back up, and it's sort of temporarily been tampered with.
Great.
That still leaves 14 of these generals, but hey, 2 is 2. You're just doing your part.
I'm doing my best.
You're doing your part. Okay, so that's Rye's turn. Napeen, you are now on the walls, and you see that this is about to happen. These generals are pulling these arrows. These archers are about to fire.
Napeen and Pillow.
So I'm assuming they're far away from me too.
Let's find out. They are Rosalina. One is actually within running distance here.
Really?
Yeah.
Are they within throwing distance?
Throwing what?
My trident.
Yes. They absolutely are.
I would chuck my trident.
Yes. You'll
Jump, go trident! Okay, yeah, so
But
do your
because
range attack.
I am a throwing fighter, I'm going to use my strength and not my dex.
Hey!
My dex
Yeah.
is negative. So,
Turtles. How very dexterous.
Get him. Chuck a trident.
Oh.
I took meta magic at it.
9.
9? Okay, but as we observed, 9 damage can stop them from attacking.
No.
That's an attack roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is not going to hit.
Yeah.
I apologize. Your trident flies, and then it cling, cling, cling right next to one of these generals. And I'll say he doesn't even react to it. He's like, if I get hit, I get hit. He's focusing entirely on this arrow that he's about to fire.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. If you want to run or do a bonus action, you can do that.
Oh, that's dope. I just like it because I can get all the meta magic.
You dutifully, loyally, alongside your fellow troops, you stand in position, ready to go. Jabatha, you are now in the midst of battle. We're going back and forth with this guy who just smack talked you and then immediately miss. What do you do on your turn as these generals on the walls prepare their arrows to strike?
Does there happen to be a line of soldiers like in front of me?
We established that the way they set up is a 2 deep line, and you are coming from the side because you're coming from the water.
So yes.
So yes is the short answer.
I would like to breathe acid on them.
Yeah, we the language of your acid.
It's a
Acid,
Dex
right.
DC 12, half damage on success.
Yeah, but what's the distance, the range and shape?
30 feet.
Yeah.
It's 5 feet by 30 feet.
Well, it's just 6 units then.
Jesus, huge.
Honestly,
Never bring a heavy armor.
honestly, because they're relatively
Dragon
tightly
Lord,
packed
right?
phalanx style, like I'm gonna say 8 units
yes,
is pretty
yeah.
reasonable. So
Lit.
8 units are gonna get hit with this acid. What's the dex save? To me?
12.
12. Cool. They only have +1 to dex. They're not like extremely dexterous, except the sword wielders are. So let's do it. Annie, I want you to do it. It's more fun if you do it. Roll 4d20s.
I've always imagined like.
And just tell me the numbers. Just tell me the numbers.
I've always imagined that the way the breath attacks work with dragons
11-4.
is based on the elements. So like with acid, I was thinking of it as like a cobra, like spitting like a liquid, like a.
Okay.
Versus
So
a fire breath.
what this means,
Cold,
Jabatha, what this means is that exactly half of them saved and half of them failed. So you tell me the difference.
So the ones that fail
pretty good.
take 9,
Yowzers.
and the ones
So
that
just casually 36 damage across those 4 units. Yeah, keep going.
yeah. The ones
Wow.
that failed take 4.
Yeah, rounded down. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is another 16 damage. So you see, there are not many Dragonborns in the Ruby Empire army. There are some, but the fact that you just sort of like casually sauntered out, and you're like, oh look, an extremely convenient formation for my acid breath, woo, and did 50 damage is pretty good in a numerical sense, and it's also inspiring to your units. You have, just as I did with Mitchell, you can take you get your own. Get an inspiration die for any ally that is within range of you that you can have them use whenever they're attacking. Cool.
What number die is it?
D20. It's just a reroll. It's a free advantage on an attack or an ability check.
Okay.
Cool. So, which, by the way, if it's relevant, like, could happen now. You could just decide to use it now for who's
Yeah, I didn't even use it for my
you?
guys, and we routed the forces outside the wall. So.
Yeah, it's because you rolled 3 natural 20s in a row.
Yeah.
Okay, I made up for it by rolling a 4.
Crushed it.
4. Yeah.
4.
Anyway, you let me know if you're gonna have like
Please
something
don't my
attack with
bad
your
rolls.
inspiration
We're
right now
talking
or whatever.
the night before.
I can control her.
It's like 4, 3.
That's just you can
9.
choose to give that to her just because.
Can I use it for me?
No.
Oh.
This is representative of your actions inspiring other people
I guess
to
I'll
be
just.
better versions of themselves.
Okay, I guess I'll just give it to her now then.
Yeah, cool.
Okay,
So
okay.
why don't you roll twice for attack? Celine charges into combat after you.
18 and 19.
Cool. Well, 19 will hit for sure.
Great.
So, and she's able to shoot,
Yes,
shoot,
Celine.
and is now dutifully using the sword you created. I was absolutely going to have it break in combat if you failed,
No!
which would have been very funny and sad if she died.
I knew that was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
absolutely. But Celine is holding herself up and is able to
Celine.
take out one of the other soldiers on the field.
Woohoo!
Ghost.
Woo! So, at the end of the round, I gave you all of the opportunity to help your forces turn the tide, and things are going very well. You could almost argue conspicuously well. Why were they not assembled on the ground before you arrived? Or why did they cease the stormy waters or the magical explosive cannons of energy? Well, in the words of Star Trek, maybe they were redirecting their power to some other form of magic. As this energy seeps through the general's arms and into the bows, you watch as all of them train their bows on each of you. So relative to your position,
Specifically?
relative to your positions with the number of generals that were active and the troops that you were with, you were all in the vicinity of these attacks that they are now training on you and your units.
Huh.
As they draw their bows, a pulsating, except for 2 of them, a pulsating explosion of purple energy begins to shoot through their arm and into the bow, and then, with the simple release of their finger, and as we observed with the cannonballs, the moment it touches even anything, blink, an explosion of purple energy in half a second swallows everything that is inside of it. That includes chunks of the wall, the air itself, and for you, unlucky 5, your entire mortal corporeal forms as you disappear into these portals.
Cool.
Weeks after this battle takes place, some of the soldiers that disappeared that one day will very slowly make their way back to the Ruby Empire and Bavlada, or Balavda. they will tell tales of how they were transported into this terrifying void for what felt like both an instant and an eternity, and then suddenly were in a city they had never heard of. They were in a city called Hillhawk in the Sapphire Scholars, or in Witchhole somewhere in the Amethyst Kingdom, or that they were on the outskirts of the Emerald Egalitary, and that they had no idea where they were, had to pay for passage and ferry sleep under, willing roofs, or hiding out in the forest, especially if you were in enemy terrain, and would slowly trudge their way back until they made it home. Some, indeed, never made it back. Maybe they chose not to fight for the Empire, but that couldn't possibly be true. They would never defect like that.
Never.
Or maybe they were caught and killed because they were still wearing their Ruby Empire armor when they suddenly appeared in the streets of the Amethyst Kingdom. Wes simulating what would it look like to quickly take off all of your paraphernalia as you were there. But you five, your journey's a little different than the rest. You see, the five of you have one thing in common, and it's not just that you were a part of this young and adopted agency that put you into the Ruby Empire. No, instead you teleport to a very fascinating cosmic void. It feels like it floats in empty space, shimmering water underneath you. And as you are standing there, you find yourselves very... you find yourselves with a clarity of mind that you've never achieved before. It's as if you are both seeing yourself in yourself and outside of yourself. What some people call like an out-of-body experience.
I am now truly Master Uwe.
Yeah, Uwe has achieved total understanding. And in front of you is a woman, an elderly woman, with a table with an ornate purple rug strung out in front of it, and rows of tarot cards. And that's it. A single tree hangs over her, a river that appears from nowhere and ends nowhere streams just beside her, and there's grass underneath her feet, this common wooden table being the only thing that's actually resting on the ground. The five of you look at one another, realizing that these are indeed your allies, and remembering your time together. You studied together at the academy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
I recognize it.
there's a memory
Peach
that's...
tree. I get it.
In fact, there's a memory that's going to come to you right now for the first time in a while. For the past few years, you were under the impression that these orphans, so to speak, were brought in by the Ruby Empire from different places, different cities or different conquests or things as a result of combats. But you now know for certain that the five of you actually came from the same place, somewhere. You can't really put a finger on it. It might have been towards the eastern side of the continent, maybe the Emerald Egalitary, but you now look at each other with a kinship that you've never had before. You used to think of each other as distant comrades, but now it's like, maybe we know each other more than just that, and you're trying to dig deeper into your psyches for that. Meanwhile, this woman at the table in front of you, and I will put her...
She better be old.
I did not depict the void that she's in, but I think... You know what? No, I'm going to wait a little bit. You see that she has long and stringy gray hair, wrinkles down the sides of her face. Her earlobes droop and her eye have bags that sag, but she has a huge smile nonetheless. And she says, "Oh, come closer. All of you, please, come here. I've been waiting for you. Come. Take a look." And she gestures at the cards in front of her.
I think unconsciously, Lear is going to say a word, and it doesn't necessarily have meaning to y'all, but he's going to say Galat? Grenoble?
She looks at you and she says, "I know not who this Galat is, assuming this is someone you know, but I know something about you, Lear, and about you, and you." And she names all of you one by one and says, "Come closer. I can't wait to see who will draw from my deck first." She shuffles these tarot cards in front of her and begins laying them out in a new tableau face down.
Lear will put a hand out and reach for the card third to the left.
Okay, she gasps in anticipation. Oh no, oh yes! And you flip the card over. On the other side, an ornate figure, colors and shapes that weave themselves together. Yours is of a silvery, violet hue with a waxing moon on the front of it. And you see as there are streams of magic that seem to shoot forth from this moon-like shape. And she says, "Oh, well, you must be the moon. I pray tell this will be of importance to you on your journey. Take one step closer for me, dearie."
Yes, ma'am, and he steps forward.
She reaches for the card that is in your palm. She turns your hand towards your chest and is pushing it against your heart. And it seems like you don't resist. You allow this to happen. As soon as it gets close enough, she then pushes onto it and the card disappears into your physical form. A magical energy seeping through you and you feel clarity. It's the best way I can describe it is like getting a huge hit of caffeine where you're like, my brain feels so much more awake.
My
and there's
chakras have unlocked.
yeah, exactly. You're decluttering your chakras. So she then looks at everyone else. Now, who will take their card next?
I have a moment with Pillow, just a little chit-chatter, and then Pillow snuffles up and puts her nose on the seventh one.
Pillow then reveals as she picks up the card and flips it forth with a flourish for all of you to see. You see a chariot on the side of your tarot card.
Nice.
As you witness as humanoid-like character, but not definitely human, riding into battle pulled by some flaming steeds. And she says, "Oh, the chariot! I love that one! You are going to help lead people to get where they need to go. And you, Leah, you are going to provide the best and most secret cover of night to give you the most powerful information advantage." And then she gestures to the three of the rest of you. Come on! I'd say I don't have all day, but I really do.
Well, you're just dragging your feet here. Alright, Ragnus.
Dragnus still there?
Presumably. Did we take damage?
Yeah, did we take damage?
If not, Ragnus is for sure there.
Ragnus is not with you.
Okay.
Oh.
I look at my faded. I look at my faded gemstone.
You see like a loading animation of a Steve running in a circle inside of the ruby.
Kind of toss it up, and
It does like a Tamagotchi animation when you.
I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it down on the table, and just with one corner as a reference point, I'm gonna. Yeah, I'll do that one.
Just a little real spinning motion, spin the bottle style. So, Lami, you reach forward and grab this card and pull it up in front of you. And she says, "Oh, yes! The Emperor!" You see a throne of regal red quilted cushions of a golden finish and iconography across the top that has the veneer of royalty but seems to be multicultural. I'm not going to make you roll investigate yet, we'll come to that later, but basically you would infer immediately that this is being pulled from multiple cultures at once. It's not just the Ruby Empire imagery. And then she says, what does it mean to be a true master? Perhaps you will be the one to teach the rest of us. And finally, and she looks at the ranger.
How many are on the table?
There are 14 cards remaining.
What if I don't take one?
Are you saying that out loud, or are you just
I'm
thinking?
asking. I'm saying that to her.
She said, "What if you didn't take up?" She's like, "Everyone eventually takes a card. I believe," she leans forward, she says, "I believe that every spirit in Chrysalis desperately yearns for true meaning, not falsely held convictions." And she leans back very patiently and looks to you, Jabatha.
I want to take the one on the farthest right.
You take this card into your hand. She flicks it up and holds it into yours. And she says, "Oh, yes." You see on the front of it that there is a figure with a long black trench coat looking formal gown, formal attire. And in front of them, they have their two hands held encircling one another with a flame in the middle. And as that flame produces what looks like wings from a creature in a silhouetted pose in it, she says, "Oh, yes, you have the magician." Magicians can truly create the most beautiful things, seemingly out of thin air. What will you build to make this world a better place? And then she just patiently looks at you, Lear. Or not Lear, Rye.
I'm just a bit confused. Why are we here?
Isn't it obvious? Haven't you all felt that there was a part of you that was missing? A piece of you that felt empty, that you wanted to fill? And this is one of the few times that I do have to like give your answer for you. This is definitely true. As a result of this, like I described as a caffeine hit or this like extra clarity, you realize that you've been missing something, what feels like your entire lives. Your entire life, something has been taken from you. You don't even know what it is. So in this case, the answer for all of you is yes. Haven't you felt like there's been something missing from you for your entire lives?
Did you fill the missing void by giving them a card?
No.
The card is only
There's says
Right.
honestly.
the card is only a manifestation of what your own heart wants you to discover. Watch! She takes the purple rug and flicks it, and with a magic cast over all the cards, they all perfectly flip exactly upside down and land in front of you, and you see every row of the remaining 13 tarot cards, and they are all completely blank. She says, "It was just an illusion of choice. The reality, Rye, is your heart is already chosen. So let's try this again for you." And she takes 12 of the remaining 13 and she throws them into the small creek that's next to you.
Oh, okay.
She goes, flipping it back and forth in between two of her fingers, and then and places it back down on the table. What choice are you going to make, Rye?
You.
And she looks at you with this wry, witty smile.
WR.
Friend, you could let the dog pick for you.
The dog looks at you and kind of wags.
Pillow eagerly gesturing towards the last card as though there might be a treat underneath it.
Pilo,
Just a little
does
crotch.
Pilo know human speech?
Probably
No, not by default.
Yeah.
No.
As much as Brody does.
Yeah. I get that.
There you go.
Place.
Yeah. No,
I'm gonna try to walk past her and pick one up out of the creek.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. So you walk past her and you reach down into the water.
Yeah.
They're there. They're not even wet.
Oh.
They have like a kind of like a
Okay.
hydrophobic covering on them of some sort.
I'm gonna grab two of them then, and then I'm gonna look at them.
So you reach down. You're very clearly watching it the whole time. Into the water, clear water, crystal clear. Reach down, grab two, lift it. One card.
What?
You look down. More
Okay.
cards.
I grab one in the other hand.
Yeah. You reach it up with your other hand, and the other one has disappeared from your first hand.
Okay, I'm gonna take this one back. I'm going to grab the one on the table.
So you're now holding the one from the creek, the second one from the creek.
Yes.
And you're going to reach down and grab the one that she put on the table in front of you.
Yes.
You lift it up.
Yeah.
Second one disappears.
All right. This is dumb magic. Okay, fine. I'll look at it.
She said, "I knew you were going to pick that one."
Yeah, sure.
And she says, "Well, why don't you flip it over this time yourself? I'll give you the agency of looking at it." As you turn into the other side, you see what looks like a hammer and scales, like the symbol for Libra. And she says, "Oh, now this one does make sense now that I think about it. You believe in justice, so you shall be justice. How will you help people in their times of need? when you need to discover what is truly just for yourself. And she looks back at all of you and she says, looking at you one by one in sequence around the circle, "Ah, the magician, the moon, the emperor, the chariot, and justice. I hope that that your hearts take you on a journey greater than any we could find. And if you need me, you'll be able to contact me again. But you can call me the Confidant. Well, unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to tell you too much more about the journey that is ahead of you for fear that it might get into the wrong hands. But make no mistake, I am not a figment of your imagination. This is not a dream. I get that all of the time in here, and it is not a dream. Don't pinch yourself or don't do worse things. It'll last. You can find me, although I won't look anything like this. She chuckles to herself and brings her long fingers together. She's like, I'm actually far more attractive than this in the real world. This is just the form that I take from my many years in this solitary confinement. Good luck. May your hearts guide you, your cards find you, and your journey take you to bigger and better places. All right! Time to shut this place down. Goodbye! She snaps her fingers and the world, which was roughly, I'd say like 200 feet in diameter as a sphere, the blackness begins to close in rapidly around you as you find yourselves, your eyes forcibly shut as the blackness covers you completely, and you all, the blackness is replaced by regular light from the real sun as you find yourselves standing on the ground, back in the Ruby Empire. Completely teleported back to the site of Balavda, the original encampment that you left from just this morning. Or was that yesterday? Or a year ago? How long has it really been? And then, for the first time, something truly terrifying and ultimately soul-gripping is revealed to all of you at once. Once you are in the real world, a memory flashes before you. And for this, our final moment today, I want to perhaps change the dynamic. None of you are special. You are all regular citizens of the Emerald Egalitary, from suburbs, local districts. You were trained in martial arts or in magical elements or in the scholarly studies and sciences, and there was one thing that brought you all together. You were ultimately extremely motivated and loyal to the cause of the Emerald Egalitary. You see, as a commander of the Emerald Egalitary's supreme undercover forces brings you all together, he looks at all of you with a long sigh. You are in an underground bunker that has been secured from all surveillance technology and from any commoner's watchful eyes. He looks at all of you and he says, thank you all for being here. This is one of the most critical missions we will ever find ourselves in the coming future. All of you are young, but I know your hearts are in the right place, and it will be tested beyond any measure. The Emerald Egalitary is strictly isolationist with respect to the war between the Ruby Empire and the Amethyst Kingdom. We maintain trade with both parties, the Kingdom and the Empire. I know what we might think of the Ruby Empire. Trust me, between you and me here in this underground bunker, I confess to you that I do not want the Ruby Empire to lay waste to the lands of the greater beyond. But the moment we tip our hands, we lose critical components and economic leverage which we can use to eventually build a better egalitary. So, how do we sway the war between the Ruby and Amethyst forces in the favor of Amethyst, thus protecting the rest of the world? Well, it's simple. We need you to go directly into their back lines, undercover, fully dedicated to their cause. You may be asked to take lives. You may be asked to do unspeakable crimes. But trust me in this. With this top secret project, you will be asked to lose memory of the people you once were, going into a deep mental, spiritual sleep, behaving as though you had no recollection of these events until the right time, when you've earned their trust, when you've risen in the ranks, when you have gained access to key information or resources, and then you will awake. And when you do, I want you to find the confidant. She will be responsible as your primary liaison for everything that you experience your time there. Are there any last words before you go into what might be a 2 to 3 year slumber?
See you on the other side.
Lear speaks to himself and to the rest of the group.
Do we take anything with us in terms of, I don't know, keepsakes?
I'm bringing my fish jerky.
I will allow you all to take one personal item that has no traces to the Emerald Egalitary's official forces. It cannot be even hinted at that you are working for us, because if Empress Velgradi discovers a sniff of betrayal, you know what will happen. The rest of you can assume that it would be immediate execution for treason, and unfortunately, treason of the highest order is not exactly given a quick death.
I assume, context, we got brought into this bunker. We are just more or less stepping, like we stepped into this bunker just coming from like our normal life.
So
Or
the
we go
context
through-
before this moment is you were trained in a program to give you some elite skills that would be helpful to you during a reconnaissance or subterfuge operation.
Okay.
This happened for approximately a year prior to this moment. All of you, essentially teenagers within the lifespan of your relative fantasy races.
Okay.
They needed intentionally to pick young and relatively unassuming targets that would be difficult for the Ruby Empire to suspect. In fact, they wanted you to appear malleable in the eyes of the Ruby Empire, so they would bring you fully into their ranks. That was the plan for this top secret and secretly named operation.
Got it.
So, as you are all preparing for this, he gestures to the rest of you, are there any other final words? And I will tell you, I'm not going to tell you what this person looks like or his name. You don't remember it right now. You
But
only
we
remember these
are
statements.
remembering that this
happened.
happened.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Any final words?
Can I bring my father's medal? And I produced the medal that for our audio viewers, that I was fiddling with at the beginning
Yeah.
and thought was mine, but it's actually my dad's. And I just polished it to keep it looking nice, and so I just sort of had it. And maybe the story was planted, maybe it was real, maybe I just didn't receive Troy's commendation, but
He looks at you and he says, yes,
thank you.
ties to family are as honorable in the Ruby Empire as anywhere else. The key is your intent. So, you are welcome to take that.
Then I leave this with you. And I came in somewhat, like I work as a blacksmith, that's my background. And leather apron that I have as I've taken what looks like some sort of die that punches a particular overlapping C's print, but it's clearly from an emerald blacksmith shop. Take it off, fold it up, and just kind of extend my arm and say, I think this will be a dead giveaway, but can you hold on to it for me until I get back?
He gently takes it, and then he's got a shelf on the side where cloth items are being wrapped up and stored in essentially cupboards that have been assembled. You could infer for multiple operatives that might be in the field, and he stores it and securely locks it. He says, thank you for your sacrifice. This will be here for you when you return home.
Of course.
And it's just sorry.
And I don't have anything I want to take with me, but do you have any good reading?
He says,
Entertaining?
because we maintain trade with the Ruby Empire, I have a book that I actually think that you might enjoy, and that might help you curry favor with the military generals there.
I'm very interested.
There's a folkloric hero, a Burok, who is known for many mighty works. I have overheard that these generals love to swap stories to liken themselves to Burok in their midst. So maybe that will do you
He
some.
carries a hammer. It'll do.
So you put the book in your personal
Can I
supply.
fold it over?
He looks at the rest of you. Any last words before you finally go under?
Not a last word, but a question about the Emerald Egalitary.
Mm-hmm.
What is there any like cultural treasure or something that is valued by them above all else? Is like in people.
Our records don't have any critical Ark of the Covenant style
Oh no!
artifact.
Sorry, I'm asking this like outside
Oh, okay.
of like what would my character know? Emerald Egalitary, basically.
The Emerald Egalitary as like a
Okay.
cultural
Yeah.
touchstone.
Yeah.
They actually have many very prized cultural touch points of works of art. Name your pick.
Oh, sorry. It's assume that I might not have done all the required reading. I don't know
That's
much
fine.
about the Emerald.
What are you
Sure.
trying to achieve?
The people. We have a very high value of art. Is that the idea?
Yep.
Okay. I guess my question for our operative friend who we don't remember, and I'm not saying I remember this part, you can decide. Barai is very curious on when we all awake from our slumber, will we recognize each other? I'm assuming it's only us 5 in the room.
Yeah, he says, our confidant will assure that at the point at which you awake, you will all not only know each other, but remember this very conversation. That's actually why it's being recorded right now. You see that there is a gemstone that is capturing the memories of what is taking place in this room right now, and it's being implanted into some small rings that are being created on a mold to your left. He then turns back to you and he says, however, I can't guarantee that you'll reclaim all of the memories before this moment. That's part of the integrity of the security of these mind wipes. You have to spend years with absolutely no wavering in your loyalty to the Empress in order to really curry favor with all of their military forces. So, that's blood that is I'm prepared to have on my hands. He sighs and shrugs. Any last words from anyone else before we begin this?
I scratch behind Pilo's ear and ask if Pilo will remember. Will Pilo remember?
He says, we've not found in our studies that animals retain too much concrete memories, but we'll just go ahead and take the risk of not having to wipe Pilo's mind. That way Pilo will always remain loyal to you, even if they don't know why you're in a completely new country with new groups of people.
Pilo likes you down.
He looks at the rest of you. Once again, your service, your sacrifice, giving up years of your youths to the Emerald Egalitary will save countless lives. The Ruby Empire is like a voracious, unending, gluttonous lust for power. She will stop at nothing to influence her domain and increase its power by subjugating, conquering, and destroying with violence everywhere she goes. You must succeed. All reports show that they will always be working on an incredibly powerful new kind of magic or beast. And if you discover whatever these resources are, your job, as with any, is to stop it. However, by the time 2 years passes, or 3, and the confidant makes contact with you, we'll probably have something more specific for you to be tapped for. I do not envy your lives until then, but we will remember you with every single gesture we can, whether you return or not.
Will you tell our next of kin?
These memories have already been stored and will be given to them as a last will and testament if your bodies are to be found.
Good deal. Well, you didn't have to sell me anymore with all the stuff about the Ruby Empire being tyrannical and terrible. I was already ready to go.
Good.
Yeah, let's stop the sun. Let's make a difference.
At this point, he gestures for what are these beds that are these stone pods that have been built with some mechanical arms and what will eventually be a device that lowers over your head and simply raises an arm in the direction, gesturing for the 5 of you to take a seat. It's like, if each of you would please go to your pod.
Jumps on pod 3. Takes off.
All right. Do you do or say anything else?
God, these are uncomfortable.
As all of you lay down inside of your pods, the stone feels cold. You decide that, or you feel in the moment that maybe this wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe there was a better way to. Am I really the one that was meant to do this? Why me? I don't have any real experience, but you know that you've been trained for this. You know that being young and being relatively innocent is going to help you be, brought in by the Ruby Empire. And all of you are eventually going to close your eyes, which I'll ask our players to do right now. You lie there inside of the pods. They're lowered into place. A swirling, magical vortex of energy surrounds the five of you. And you hear sparks of what feels like electrical energy, and the feeling that's about to hit you is like you suddenly took just dozens of melatonin all at once. Your faculties, your conscious energy immediately sapped from you. Your shoulders begin to loosen. Your neck begins to loosen as you slump downward into this uncomfortable stony chair, just hoping, or maybe even praying, that this sacrifice is going to be worth it. And then, the black void of memories forgotten. Back to present. All of you are standing on the ground, and this memory now comes to all of you. You realize, all of you, none of you, not a single one of you, is truly from the Ruby Empire. In fact, you are the ultimate force that was sent here to stop it. One last thing, as your mind was being pulled from you, you noticed an IV of sorts being inserted into your bodies, and a really viscous fluid is being injected into your blood. Right before you fall asleep that one fateful day, you would not have really known what this was, and I'll go so far as to say you weren't ever told what this would be, but you lack the consciousness to do anything about it. And as this mysterious additive serum is being injected into your blood, you fall asleep, you awake in the present with memories of how the five of you are going to band together on an undercover operation to overthrow a major force, sabotaging the Ruby Empire and bringing victory in one way or another, or that you may die trying. But what will happen next? Who is the confidant? And how will our party officially move forth on their journey? Well, that is where we're going to end our session, and you can tune in next time to find out more with Operation Bloodstone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back soon to continue this journey in the Ruby Empire.
Yeah.
But until then, let's say goodbye, everyone. Goodbye!
Bye, everyone.
And now a word from our sponsors.